Hello world, welcome back. It's Sam from Samuel Lloyd and we're here again bringing you closer to the classics. This time we have this stunning Eastern Green 1989 Range Rover. Paris delivered, Parisian car, registered in August actually of 89. So this week marks its 35th anniversary. A bit of history. Originally delivered in 89 to Paris, resided in Paris with its first 3 owners until 2014. Got very nice technical inspection history of this car. So being a French car, it has its control technique, which happens every other year. This one's got records from 1997, which is lovely, all the way up to 2014, at which point it headed to the UK. So that's really great because it substantiates its low mileage, which is just under 56,000 miles or just over 56,000 miles. Don't hold me to it, but it's all on the website. And then from 2014, it came to the UK and we've got MOTs every year until its most recent, which was in December of 23. So that's really great. Not easy to find a car of this pedigree type with that sort of mileage that's substantiated. I think what we'll do now is we'll go and have a look around, show you some of the details, talk you through some of the originality. So coming around to the side, we've got beautifully sharp lines. They call it the glass house, but you've got a lot of window coverage, which makes it a really nice place to sit. You get a view of everything. Condition-wise, it's survived really well. It's a really tough one because you buy a Land Rover, a Range Rover from a really, really hot climate and everything starts to perish. You know, the window seals, which are not easy to get. I think Famous 4 do make them now for some models. But yeah, all this stuff is in really good condition, as are the plastic mirrors, windscreen seal. Tyres, we've got Dunlop 205 16s all round. Not huge, but perfectly adequate. Good road comfort. It's manual locking, which is nice. I always say less is more with the Range Rovers. On the later 5 doors, you've got a lot of electronics. You've got cruise control, central locking, electric seats, a lot more to go wrong. And if you're looking for a weekend car, that's the last thing you want. You don't want to get in it and have things that don't work. So yeah, I'm of the opinion that less is more. This one's actually had the windows converted to manual. So I think it was delivered from the factory with auto windows, but we've now got manual winders, which for me is the preference. Vinyl A-pillars, they introduced those, I'm gonna get in trouble, aren't I, if I get this wrong. But I'm gonna say suffix BC, which was 73.4. They introduced those and then used them all the way to the end when the final ones rolled off the production line in 97 with the soft dash. I'm sure I'll get beaten up in the comments, but I think the 3-door run until 1993 in the 3-door configuration. The UK dropped it in the early 80s because it just wasn't, it was no longer desirable. Quite an interesting story actually. So there was coach builders were taking the Suffix cars with 2 doors in the 70s and basically cutting in a door here. It's quite a big car, so it doesn't really make much sense for it to have 2 doors and kind of impractical as a both agricultural and luxury vehicle. So the idea was it was one car for all occasions. And you'll find, I'm sure we can probably find it and include it in the video. So yeah, what happened in the 80s is I think sales probably just collapsed for the 2-door. Coach builders were converting the 2 doors to 4-door. Land Rover caught on, and then they brought out their 4-door model, and then this just became extinct in the UK. In Europe, they kept making it until 93, 94 because it was basically a cost-effective option for farmers in Spain and Portugal. And then that was when they introduced the diesel. I guess it's like a sort of tax saving exercise because I think there was big incentives for diesel vehicles back then. This is in the 90s now. So this is kind of one of those cars in the sense that it would have been a very low spec model for the French market. Oh, hi, you find me contemplating life from the back of the Range Rover 2-piece tailgate. This is quintessential Range Rover. A lot of the reason people buy the vehicles. Still got it on the 24 model. It's probably the only thing that's survived. Yeah, never gone. So yeah, nice place to be, good for a picnic, good for a spot of watching some shooting, whatever you may want to do, watch the polo, do something very English, watch the cricket. Great. And then what we've got back here, we've got original rubber floor mats, which is very rare. If we lift them up, we've got the aluminium floor, we've got our jack, original toolkit, even got a sticker. Apply handbrake before and chock wheels before lifting. So we've also got the wheel chock in there. And then we've got our spare wheel here. So it's all very simplistic. And then the tailgate's actually been trimmed in black vinyl, which I don't think is not original, but it's well done and keeps it very clean. So moving on into the interior, it's got teddy bear velour seats. I think that's probably one of my favourite points of a Range Rover Classic. They are, in my opinion, they're terrific. Way nicer than leather. Very hard to find now because I'm not aware that anyone's making any trim kits for them. So you either got them or you haven't. Yeah, really nice. It's got a rear seat to match, rear bench to match, folds down. Quite unique, but previous owners done a Harris tweed door cards. I personally love them. I think they look great. Gives the car tons of character. And then we've got original non-leather wrap 2-spoke Range Rover steering wheel. Kind of similar design to the Defenders, sort of TD5 era Defenders, but slightly different. Very standard. We've got no cruise control. We've got horn on the end, indicators, lights, hazard up here. Range Rover embossed pedal rubbers, always quite nice. Little telltale sign that you're in a Range Rover. Very simple gauge cluster, shows 86,000 kilometers or 86,107 kilometers, approximately 56,000 miles. This is just a little trim. This is a little trim piece that says Range Rover. What would have been there would be the automatic adjustable mirrors, but this car has literally hasn't got any electrics on it at all, which I think is great, including the mirror. So the mirrors manually fold in, which is good, in my opinion. With the headline has been redone. So we've got a fresh headliner, fresh light lenses. These often crack, just become brittle. We've got all the grab handles in place, original visors, original mirror, central cubby. Still got the switches, but the windows have been converted. The only thing it's got that's not original is this Blunkput Madrid 200 Bluetooth radio, which is just a really simple, classic look radio. Got your Bluetooth for the phone, Bluetooth for connecting music, and then AM, FM. Very simple, doesn't look out of place. High, low range, and then your 5-speed transmission, which is the LT77. So in the rear, we've got the Harris tweed side panels to match the front. Big bench seats, lots of leg room, relatively easy to climb into. We've just got buttons here on the side for pushing the seat forward. Ashtray, very of the 90s. Lighter, essential. That's a good point to say the car's not been smoked in. There's no smell of smoke. And the last part, the engine bay. So, what do we have? Very clean under here, actually. Very original. We've got a replacement sound dampening for the bonnet. We've got new shocks on the front. Just been serviced. Running really well. It's the 3.5 EFI. Yeah, it was the next iteration after they dropped the carb for certain markets. There's a few markets I think kept it for longer, but yeah, a lot of the 3.5 EFI went to Greece. Strangely, they were just very against diesel at the time. So you find a lot of Defenders and Range Rovers down there with this engine, and also the 3.9. We've got original stickers. We've got the body identification colour, Eastern or green. Some little warnings telling you not to rip off the coolant cap while it's hot. The VIN plate. This is our air cleaner box. This is one of the modules for controlling the airflow. This looks like the remnants of maybe a immobilizer, but the vehicle no longer has one of those, which is probably good, probably a pain. Your coil. There's the firewall's very good. So that's one of the weak areas on the Range Rover, because the firewall is integral to the body behind the panels, so it's all one piece. Unlike a Defender where the bulkhead is it's a separate component. So when these go, it can be a pain. But this one is very good. They often go just behind the brake lines, but there's no evidence. There's only very slight surface corrosion, but there's nothing serious or needs remedying, which is good. And the same behind the brake master cylinder. That's like another weak spot. If there's ever a leak, spots go. Inner arches are very good as well. No leaks or weeps from the steering box. Steering's good. What have we got down here? It's been undersealed recently. At the same time, the exhaust was replaced and the A-frame joint was done. The front floors are original. There's nothing crazy. We'll close this bonnet up and we'll take it for a drive. So we're going to start with a bit of off-road driving. This is what they call a bypass, green lane. So funny old roads we have in the UK where you're legally allowed to drive up to 60 miles an hour, according to someone from National Trust that told me earlier. Sounds crazy, but you can drive down here at 60 miles an hour and it's not illegal, but you'll get in trouble with them. So we'll do a little bit of gentle off-roading, and then we'll go and take it on the road and see how it performs there. So no, it's really nice. A lovely burble from the V8. I find it amazing how similar these cars are in makeup in terms of the axles, the chassis to a Defender, but they feel entirely different. It's very much somewhere you could happily sit for a long time, whereas in a Defender it's far more purposeful. I think just the way the door, how low the door is, you can rest your arm on it, and center console. Here we go, quite deep sand up ahead. And it's handling it with ease. We're only in high range at the moment. We should probably go into low range actually before we head on the road. Probably now is not a bad time. Stop, just do that. So you just go into neutral and then push it forward into low, and then set off, and you'll hear it should engage. What you'll notice from watching the video is the revs are a lot higher, but we're not really going anywhere. So if you get yourself into a spot of trouble, this is the gear for you. So it's really putting a lot. There we go. So it's actually around here is where we filmed one of our first videos. But that'd be back when I was at university. So that'd be, I'm gonna say 2017. We had a Alpine White, or was it a Chamonix White? Two-door. It was a 2.5, so it was the later VM. And that was one of the very first cars we did actually. And we sold that. Where did that go? That headed to Florida to a client called Chuck actually. He's kept in touch. We bought him a few other vehicles from Europe. But we don't get so many Range Rovers in these days. I think there's so much demand now for Defenders. And truth be told, they're probably easier to come by. It's a lot harder to find Range Rovers, and the parts aren't as available. So you've got to find a good one. You can't make one as you can with a Defender. Sounds great. Puts a smile on one's face. I think we're going to come up to a little ford, which it's basically a little stream in a road. As you can see, there's a guy on a bicycle, so it's nothing. As you know, he's going around it. Sensible, very sensible. I thought he was going to go through for a minute. Handled with ease, as you would expect. Lovely sign, try your brakes. Thank you. That's into third, and then fourth, and then into fifth. And we're doing about 70 kilometers. Very nice. Thank you for watching our walk around on our beautiful Range Rover 2-door 3.5 EFI. If you've got any questions, you know what to do. The website samuelloydco.com. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook and YouTube. Please like, subscribe, be kind in the comments, and see you on the next one. Thanks again.